The $7.1 billion operating budget before us today is a reflection of compromise, collective values, and the complex needs of our growing community. I'm proud to say that this budget focuses on our core priorities: investing in education, supporting public safety, producing and preserving affordable housing, combating climate change, protecting the most vulnerable, and jump-starting economic development so we can grow our tax base. Putting together a fiscally sound budget that meets the needs of Montgomery County's 1.1 million residents is the ultimate balancing act. Like residents across Montgomery County who create household budgets, the council had to make difficult choices with finite resources, especially as we sought to increase funding for public education. With an unprecedented level of community engagement throughout this deliberative process, the council has produced a budget that meets today's needs and makes strategic investments for Montgomery County's future so we can strengthen our social safety net and maintain our high quality of life. We're adding significant resources for Montgomery County Public Schools by funding 99.2% of the Board of Education's request without raising taxes or increasing the county's debt, while maintaining our reserve levels above 10.8% and providing the necessary flexibility to respond to potential fiscal emergencies in the months ahead. Like all budgets before us, this year brought its own set of challenges and opportunities. Faced with tough choices, we worked strategically to increase our commitment to public schools, our hardworking employees, and our nonprofit service providers. I appreciate each of my colleagues for the purposeful way we conducted our work, the county executive and staff for their budget recommendations, and the county residents who expressed their views. This year, we bolstered community outreach efforts to better inform our budget decisions, which led to the largest turnout for public hearings in recent history. We heard from 255 residents at 5 public hearings, a 55% increase in participation from last year. We also provided simultaneous interpretation services and options for remote participation. We received hundreds more emails, calls, and correspondence, and took all of it into consideration to ensure our work reflects the community's needs. The budget the council preliminarily approves this morning adds $26.3 million more funding for public schools than what the county executive proposed in his recommended budget. This represents a total of $157.3 million added to the school system's annual operating budget above last year's approved level, bringing the total MCPS operating budget to $3.3 billion. Moreover, less than a week ago, this council also took action that provided an additional $20 million in the current fiscal year to support MCPS and the ongoing commitment that we've made to support our educators and support staff to meet their health care needs. While adding this increased level of public school funding, we also continued our pledge to transparency and accountability by including specific performance metrics and reporting requirements in the MCPS budget resolution for the first time ever. To help ensure increased funding leads to improved educational outcomes, we continued our efforts to establish and grow a dedicated division within the Office of Inspector General, focused specifically on MCPS oversight. With 2 approved positions last year and another 2 added to this budget, we are ensuring that education funding is utilized to serve the greatest needs in our schools. We also continue to provide the Board of Education with resources to improve their fiscal oversight and budgetary analysis and assist them in their role as duly elected fiduciaries of one of the nation's largest public school systems. We all share a collective commitment to support student needs and improving educational outcomes. Our work, of course, does not end with this budget. The Education and Culture Committee will continue its in-depth base budget review. We also await the Office of Legislative Oversight's report the council requested in December to catalog and analyze all MCPS reports to assess gaps and to identify best fiscal and budgetary practices. Our community's quality of life relies on a thriving economy and strong workforce. I'm proud that we work together to fully fund the contracts for our dedicated educators, public safety professionals, and county government employees. Building on the recently approved New Jobs Initiative, which represents the most significant economic development package in recent decades, we also came together to restore nearly $700,000 in recommended cuts to the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation to bring their funding level to $4.7 million. Additionally, we broadened our state and university partnerships to double down on our global leadership in biohealth innovation by adding funds to create a new biotechnology workforce training facility and continuing our multi-year commitment to support the newly established Institute for Health Computing, which is exploring how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and clinical analytics can facilitate knowledge and innovations for our health and our well-being. Together, we stepped up to support our nonprofit partners who provide a social safety net for our most vulnerable residents and serve as key county partners and county employers with inflationary increases and approximately $18 million in operating and capital grants. We supported working families and their children with investments in early child care, including nearly $20 million in resources for the Early Care and Education Initiative, more than $13 million in early childhood services, and $1 million for the Children's Opportunity Alliance. We're continuing to strengthen public safety with major investments in our police department, fire rescue service, and first responders, including providing ongoing funding to continue the highly successful Dronus First Responder program in Silver Spring and Wheaton, and expand it to the Up County and Bethesda. By leveraging cutting-edge technology, we can better utilize police personnel and improve response times. We funded nearly $500,000 for the police cadet program and increased pay to bolster recruitment efforts. At the department's request, we funded an additional $500,000 to fund new tools and technologies our police need to effectively do their jobs. This budget also provides $1.3 million to grow the nonprofit security grant program to protect our faith-based and ethnic organizations facing increased threats of hate crimes at a time when it is regrettably needed more than ever. As chair of the Planning, Housing, and Parks Committee, I am beyond thrilled about the unprecedented level of funding for affordable housing in this budget at $168 million, including fulfilling the full $50 million commitment for the Nonprofit Preservation Fund after years of hard work, working alongside the Department of Housing and Community Affairs, the Housing Opportunities Commission, and our local housing providers. Additionally, the capital budget includes a significant funding increase for the Affordable Housing Acquisition and Preservation Project, including $50 million this year and a $20 million increase in future years for the Affordable Housing Opportunity Fund. As we focus on tackling the housing crisis, we're also planning for a sustainable future with forward-looking transportation and climate initiatives. We provided $3.5 million for the Great Seneca Transit Network, which is key to achieving our modern transportation needs and to providing Up-County residents with long-awaited public infrastructure. I'm particularly proud of the more than $19 million dedicated to helping finance clean energy projects for residents and businesses through the Montgomery County Green Bank. Following the passage of the Green Buildings Now Act, we're seeing the clear benefits of clean energy investments. We also increased funding for our climate change and Vision Zero initiatives by a combined 51% to continue our efforts to build a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable community. Our parks and recreation spaces are among our most valuable assets for residents of all ages, and together, we are continuing the Council's tradition in recent years to provide adequate funding to expand our heavily utilized trail network and ensure our Parks Department has enough funding to maintain open spaces that are so vital to our community's quality of life, their mental health, and their well-being. A budget of this scale and complexity requires in-depth scrutiny and collaboration at every level. Let me first thank my council colleagues for their shared commitment to our residents and continued partnership throughout this budget season. We made compromises. We came together to ensure that every dollar goes to its best and highest use, all while holding the line on new debt and higher taxes. This budget does not reflect each of us individually, but it does reflect all of us collectively as a body, and that's precisely what residents elected us to do together. To my hardworking office team, my Chief of Staff, Cindy Gibson, Matt Higgins, Angela Gear, and Andrew Resnick, thank you for your unwavering support, your relentless effort, and your dedication. The Council President's office demands long hours, added responsibility, and the ability to manage lots of moving parts. It's truly an honor to work alongside such talented and dedicated public servants who go above and beyond each and every day and manage to do it all with compassion and with care and even with a laugh and a smile. Thank Thank you to our Council Central staff whose contributions truly keep this institution moving forward, keep the public engaged, and serve an instrumental and often underappreciated role in putting this budget together. Thank you especially to Deputy Director Craig Howard, who really captained this effort throughout budget deliberations, to Senior Legislative Analysts Essie McGuire and Keith Lachenko, Clerk of the Council Sarah Tannenbaum and her entire team, Senior Legislative Attorney Christine Wellens, Racial Equity Manager Selena Singleton, Administrative Services Manager Sandra Marin, Jill Gable, and the Legislative Information Team, Legislative Information Officer Sonia Healy, Multicultural Communications Manager Berta Sarcissimo, and the entire Public Information Office, and especially to our television crew and Multicultural Community Outreach Team, who helped facilitate robust public input throughout this budget process that is truly reflective of the county that we're honored to serve. A special thank you to outgoing Executive Director Marlene Michelson for her continued engagement, and to our new Executive Director, Kaven West, for the seamless transition that they were able to carry out during this hectic time. There are so many committed members of this institution who make days like today possible. I wish I had enough time to acknowledge each and every one of you, but please know just how much you and your public service are appreciated by this body and by our county. Thank you as well to Office of Legislative Oversight Director Chris Seelar and his team, our technology staff, and all our analysts, attorneys, central staff, and council members for your ongoing support. Finally, let me express my deepest gratitude to my extraordinary personal support system, my fiance, who has supported me throughout the process with quite a bit going on in our own life together, and my wonderful parents and siblings. Everything I am, everything that I do is thanks to you and because of you. Reflecting on all that we've accomplished together in this budget and the progress we're making on key priorities, this is a proud moment for me and I hope for us as a body. As we meet this moment and prepare to meet the challenges of the moments ahead, I'm optimistic that we will work together to tackle the structural issues we face, ensure we grow an economy that can generate the revenues needed to sustain our quality of life and continue to support our most vulnerable residents, and build a strong foundation to keep our county moving forward. The budget is an important step towards setting us up for long-term success and economic mobility to ensure all our residents have access to high-performing schools, outstanding public services, and the high quality of life that they rightfully expect and deserve here in Montgomery County. Thank you very much.